All right, I have a brand new DCU update for you guys today, and we're going to take a look at some articles and some things that have popped up over the last couple of days. Ever since the announcement that Henry Cavill was pretty much fired, and I don't care how many people tell me in the comments he wasn't fired, he was fired because he was the DCEU Batman, and he got fired. He was officially let go and will not be back as Superman in the DCEU. Now, I hope things change in the future. I am not liking the direction that they're going in, but who knows what's going to happen at this stage. I'll talk about some speculation here at the end of the video. But there's some other things that have transpired because of his firing over on the internet and some other things. But first, before I talk about those stories that have to do with Henry Cavill, I want to show you the new DC Studios logo. So here is the new DC Studios logo. This is directly off of a Jim Lee drawing for the New 52, and this is what their new DC Studios is going to look like. I personally don't think the studio is going to do pretty well at the rate they're going, and I'll talk about this here a little bit later, but I wanted to show this first. Now, there was an article posted on Screen Rant here that why Henry Cavill is out as Superman according to a Hollywood insider. Now, we know when people say this, they make up stories. Who knows if this is true or not? I tend to believe that this is true. But this article talks about how, according to the Hollywood Reporter, so an insider source has given more background on why Henry Cavill's Superman is being cut from the franchise. Per the trade, the British star was a pawn in Dwayne Johnson's failed attempt to control a piece of DC, as the Hollywood actor was the one to push for Cavill's Superman to be put in Black Adam. Neither Cavill, Johnson, nor the representatives have commented on the story yet. The same goes for DC Studios and those involved parties at Warner Brothers Discovery. They talk about prior to his return to Black Adam, Cavill was seen last in 2017's Justice League and then also in the 2021 Snyder Cut, but that he was headless in Shazam and also had the Peacemaker cameo where you didn't see him. He was just in the shadows. So the plan was to have Cavill Superman back in the DCU on a full-time basis. Sometime this year, Cavill filmed a cameo for Ezra Miller's The Flash movie, but that footage is reportedly not going to be used in the final cut. And that's what we're going to talk about. Well, the next part of this is that both Henry Cavill's and now Gal Gadot's footage, it's being reported that both of their cameos in The Flash have been cut, which is going to lead to all kinds of speculation. Now, the last story I wanted to look at before I talk about some stuff here is there's a report that came out that talked about Man of Steel 2's villain was going to be Brainiac. And this is what everybody was hoping for. It says, while Man of Steel 2 is no longer happening for the DCU, a new report seems to have revealed who the big bad of the film was. Cavill's version of Superman never really had many of his own villains to go up against. Of course, there was Zod, Doomsday, and Lex, but that's about it. And two of those three didn't have much screen time with Man of Steel. Sadly, with Man of Steel not happening, Cavill won't be getting a chance to fight any more of his rogues gallery. But if the movie had made it through production, who would have been the villain? It was going to be Brainiac. A new report from the Hollywood Reporter has been released, and in it the outlet revealed that its sources claim to have known the big bad of the now-canceled Man of Steel 2. According to them, Brainiac was the villain of the in-development project. The character is a megalomaniac robotic genius who goes around the universe stealing knowledge and whole cities while adding them to his collection. He's long been one of Superman's most iconic villains. The script was being worked on in the midst of Dwayne Johnson's pushing for Cavill's return while also establishing his own properties in the DCU. Now all of his plans are in question, especially after the movie's small worldwide box office of $389 million and Cavill's exit. So let's talk about some stuff here. So they're trying to make Dwayne Johnson and Henry Cavill the bad guys here, but the reality is the studio had to okay for them to come back. I mean, he didn't just magically show up on a set one day and film his scenes for The Flash and for Black Adam. There was definitely the plan to have him back. Doesn't matter if Dwayne Johnson was pushing for it or not. He was the one that made it happen. It's what the majority of DC fans wanted, and it doesn't matter what anybody says. There is a very small group of DC fans that wanted a full reboot. The majority of fans wanted him back as Superman, and with it being a comic book universe, they easily could have created a way to do a soft reboot, whatever it took to keep these characters in. I, for one, do not want 10 more years of my life invested in brand new characters. The superhero genre is on a downward slope trajectory as it is, and DC was never able to capitalize on their characters because they were run by complete morons. And it looks like they're still run by complete morons. Why James Gunn is being allowed to do what he's doing is mind-boggling, because I have never seen such a blatant stab in the back by a studio before. You get people excited with Black Adam. Make no question, I saw Black Adam several times, and at the screenings I saw, everybody cheered when Henry Cavill returned. Everybody cheered. So everybody wanted Henry Cavill back. The studio made it seem like as if that was what was going to happen. Regardless of the returns on Black Adam, they should have kept him on as Superman. There's no reason not to. It's a guaranteed moneymaker if you announced a Man of Steel 2. It would have been a moneymaker to announce a Batman film with Ben Affleck and Deathstroke. Like, they left money on the table, and their stock is sinking even further as we speak. There is a good chance they could get bumped off the stock exchange if their stock goes low enough, which is crazy to think about. I almost wish that they do get sold to another studio. David Zaslav talked like he knew what he wanted to do with these characters, but they hired James Gunn, and I'm wondering what led to that. Like, why did they see him as the guy to come in and fix this when I just don't get it. He definitely, from all the trades and what they're reporting, he definitely went against what Pam Abdi and Mike DeLuca wanted and David Zaslav wanted. So it's 3 against 2. Why would they put him in this position to erase everything? I've never seen them stab somebody in the back, fans in the back, so bad, blatantly lie to the audience 2 months prior and then do a complete about face. I am fully supporting the Fire James Gunn movement. I am probably going to start boycotting the films as they get released. I see no reason to go see the movies next year if it's not going to lead anywhere. Why even invest the time or the money to go see these films? They're digging themselves a financial grave. And it's just crazy. And it's not that I want the Snyderverse to return. People say I'm so blind because I just have this blind allegiance to Zack Snyder. It's not just that. It's the characters. I do not want to invest in new characters. These were great people in their roles. Just make movies to represent these characters, even if it's removed from what Zack Snyder did. But I will tell you this. We are never going to get anything as epic as what we saw with this guy right here in Zack Snyder's Justice League. This character was freaking amazing. We are never going to get anything like this in film again. I guarantee you whatever Gunn has planned, we're going to see masturbation jokes. We're going to see juvenile humor everywhere. Everything I've seen from this guy, he is not going to be able to pull off what people are looking for. I don't even want to give him a chance at this stage. Like, there was no reason to get rid of Cavill. I see them as cleaning house at this stage. Does this mean they're doing a total reboot? I don't know. But the fact that they're cutting these cameos means they're probably going to retool the Flash to just wipe everything out. They've got to do something, but that's not going to save it. If everybody knows going in that they're going to wipe the slate clean, there's no incentive for anybody to go see those movies. Just wait until they just reboot everything. Why would you invest the time or the money to go to the movies when you know that what you're going to see is going to be completely and utterly destroyed? I have never seen studios screw stuff up so bad. This is a colossal failure on every level. And I can't believe that they're allowing it to continue. Now, there is kind of an interesting bright note to this that I saw the other day, that James Gunn said he sat down with Ben Affleck and is actually looking for Ben Affleck to come in and direct a movie, which was strange because I thought he had an exclusive deal with his own film company. But who knows what the rules are behind all of that. But it looks like he is also going to possibly come back and do something. And the report with Henry Cavill also said that they talked about future possibilities. So they could start this whole new universe and then lead to a Final Crisis or a Crisis on Infinite Earths kind of scenario at the end and bring everybody back in. That's wishful thinking. I just think this is an utter disaster from top to bottom at this stage, and I will be reporting on this as time goes on. I'm still going to cover everything. Even if I don't go see it, I am still going to cover everything and talk about what's happening with DC properties, because it's a big part of my channel and what I do. I love these characters, but I am not excited for the future one bit anymore. It's like totally deflated my interest because 10 more years with brand new characters, not interested. I'm just not interested. Not after all the stuff we've had for the last, 12 to 15 years with superhero films. The time has come and gone. They missed the boat. You either continue with what you have, or you're pretty much done, and there's no point in even investing in these characters. So what are your guys' thoughts? Now, tomorrow, I'm going to do an interesting video on Star Wars. There was some really good news that came out of Star Wars today that I will be covering tomorrow, which I think is pretty phenomenal news. There's going to be a bright future for Star Wars going forward after all of the crap that we've had to deal with for quite a while now with the Star Wars universe. So I will be discussing that in a video tomorrow. All right, I do appreciate it. We'll see you guys on the next video.